This isn't an adventure you'd find in the pages of Treasure Island or Robinson Crusoe. For one thing, I'm not human. And also, it took place in outer space. This is when, during my adventures a long time ago, I had a run-in with Neckbeard the Pirate, and sailed on a spaceship for a little while. As space pirates go, Neckbeard had something of a reputation, at least in the handful of systems I was zooming about in with my spaceship at the time. By the way, Neckbeard isn't actually the pirate's name, but it's a translation to the closest equivalent in English. Neckbeard. So we'll go with that. I was picking up cargo in the Celebrate system, and I literally flew too close to the sun. No, my ship's name wasn't Icarus, but for translation purposes, we'll just refer to it as the Nebuchadnezzar. It was a few ships before my last one that was destroyed. The one that exploded, and I was presumed dead and got me stranded on this planet. This was a few ships before that, so this was a little ways back. Now, don't judge me too harshly for flying too close to the sun then, because the cargo in question was from another ship that exploded near that system's star. I wonder if they too had been trying to pick up cargo from yet another ship that had been destroyed before them, which itself had been trying to retrieve cargo from another ship that flew too close to the star, setting up a chain of which I was only a part. Anyway, my ship Nebuchadnezzar was damaged. I couldn't fly off and was pulled in by the star's gravity. Rapidly overheating, the ship's interior popping and zapping all around me, I contacted Tommy Bear with instantaneous messaging, but he was too far away to get there in time. It looked dire. Then I was hailed on comm by a voice that I'll never forget. It sounded like someone eating peanut butter while talking. "Neckbeard here," he said, "and I'm about to do something crazy. Even though I'm a pirate, I'm about to save your life." I had heard of Neckbeard by then already, of some of his exploits. He was, as far as I knew, less dangerous than many pirates. Neckbeard and his crew's illicit activities mostly had to do with smuggling illegal cargoes, and the occasional theft of machinery while its owner was out. If they engaged in skirmishes, this was not reported. But like wild animals, even less dangerous pirates can become more so when in certain situations or environments. After Neckbeard docked to seemingly evacuate me, he and some of his crew moved past me to my ship's computers. They yoinked it all out. "Can't let this go to waste," Neckbeard said. "It's primitive compared to what I'm running on, but let's just not let it go to waste." He stroked his neckbeard. He was of a species that was more humanoid than myself, though I've never seen a human obtain that much beard on the neck. They hauled out my ship's computer parts, and I followed them back onto the airship. I had to resign Nebuchadnezzar to its fiery destiny, falling towards Celebrate's star. Once aboard their ship, I immediately found myself in the mess hall eating some cookies. Their cook scolded me, waving a wooden spoon around. He chased me around and around the kitchen and the mess hall. Neckbeard climbed down the hatch to investigate. "Leave Bearby alone," he said. "Let him eat. I'm sure he's starving by now." And I was. I thanked the pirate. It had been a while since I'd received such an act of kindness. And from a pirate captain? As time passed, I fell in with their crew, who were an assortment of species, including a cyborg werewolf-looking creature. She was pretty cool, by the way. We almost became like BFFs. We played cards and board games, and I listened to their stories and shared some of my own. I even whipped up one of Bearby's special recipes, in the kitchen, giving their cook a rest. They did not go for it. Too many sprinkles and sauces for their tastes. But I think they appreciated the sentiment. We gamed. We played video games, and Neckbeard showed off his impressive rigs that ran quadruple A games at 9,000 FPS. Actually, it was a little over 9,000. Oh, and he also showed off his ship's computers. They promised to drop me off at the next port, but at that port I asked to stay a little longer. Truth be told, I hadn't saved up quite enough for a new ship yet. I did jobs with him. Got my hands dirty. Became a pirate. I didn't straight up murder anyone, don't worry. But I did some jobs with Neckbeard and his crew. Did some things I wasn't exactly proud of. It was a pirate's life. I even styled the fur on my neck a little so it would resemble a neckbeard. My journey with Neckbeard ended when we had a run-in with the law after stealing jammers at Red Mile. They were waiting for us as soon as we pulled out of the star yard. Too many ships to escape from. Probably about half a dozen. Maybe more. Bearby, Neckbeard said to me. A tear streamed down his face and into his neckbeard. You're not a criminal. You don't deserve our fate, kid. They did not have escape pods or rowboats or anything of the sort on their ship. So they loaded me into one of their cannons, aimed at the other ships. I won't survive this, I yelled. But they fired me out of the cannon anyway before I finished my protests. And I spun through space, holding my breath. Thankfully, my species has been biologically augmented with little quirks that help us survive for longer in the vacuum of space. Eventually, I was taken aboard by one of the other ships, where I said I had been a captive of those pirates and that they had cruelly fired me out of one of their cannons. I lied. I survived. I don't know what happened to Neckbeard and his crew. I don't know if they were arrested or annihilated by the law. I was whisked away before I had the chance to learn just what those pirates' fates had become.
Alert.
Oh, good job. That's my bodyguard, by the way. After I was abducted by an interstellar circus recently, I took some steps for additional security.